Hello everybody, I'm Frank of Avin here in our CitrusTV studio, sat alongside our sports director, Avin, at the end of his year-long term. Adam, before we get into these director-related questions, let's start off. Can you walk me through your CitrusTV journey from your freshman year until now?
Yeah, so I started off coming down like anybody else when I was a freshman from the very first week that I stepped on campus, and I very quickly knew that this was the place that I wanted to spend a lot of my time, which is exactly what I did. So my freshman year, I did not get a producer spot, so that meant I needed to come down, work a little extra hard to kind of prove myself. I ended up getting the women's lacrosse beat reporter spot my freshman year in the spring, which was so much fun, and they made it to the Final Four, which was a crazy early journey thing to happen and get to cover, so that was really exciting. My sophomore year was jam-packed with a bunch of stuff, so I ended up going to a CC analyst spot on Q's Countdown. I also ended up becoming the assistant sports director, as well as a no-pulp host, which I'm still on to this day. My junior year, I upgraded to Q's Countdown host, as well as no-pulp host, and ultimately became sports director in the spring of my junior year. And now, start of senior year, I'm anchoring the show on the bench, as well as no pulp, and wrapping up my term as sports director. So it's been a wild few years.
So what's been your favorite memory that you've had being the sports director this past year? What have you enjoyed the most?
You know, I think it's just, I can't pinpoint an exact moment. I think it's just the place itself. Like, these are all of my best friends. I've met everybody who I feel like I'm going to be best friends with for the rest of my life from the second that I stepped into the studio, whether that's the people who have graduated prior or the people that I'm still here with and get to communicate with and work with on a daily basis. It's the people that make the place, and we happen to be at the school and at the station that produces the best student TV in the country, bar none, and to do it in such a fun and welcoming environment with your best friends is just the best thing in the world. So I know there's kind of that thing of like, well, I'm the boss and I have to make sure that everything's running smoothly, but if we're not having fun, if we're not collaborating and working together, then what's the point of all this? So I hope when I look back on my time as sports director and people look back on it, it was continuing to make this an inclusive, welcoming, and fun space for everybody, because I know that's what it was for me.
Now, the role of sports director is something that requires a lot of time and attention, so I wanted to ask, what's the biggest lesson that being a sports director has taught you?
Again, it's difficult to pinpoint one thing. I think, honestly, I would say there is no bigger thing in our industry and in life than being kind to people. Like we talk about making Citrus a welcoming and inclusive and fun place for people to be. Well, it's not going to happen if people don't come in here with the right attitude. For me, just being the sports director, that I am one of the people that it has to start with, who has to walk in the door with a smile and have a kind face, somebody that people feel like they can trust and they can talk to. So that's definitely the biggest thing that I've learned is you got to be kind to everybody. You're going to have bad days. There's going to be times where you're stressed out, where you're tired, but you really need to make sure that you're always putting your best foot forward and you're treating people with a certain level of kindness and respect. And to me, that's the biggest thing. Another big thing is being teachable. There are still so many things that I've learned over the course of the past year. Yes, I was assistant sports director before and got to learn from under one of my best friends, and I felt very prepared for it, having that year to kind of train and prep. But still, there's so many things that you don't know until you try it for yourself and until you take the position and make it your own. And so being teachable, allowing yourself to be open to change, to adapt, and then to be kind, I think are the things that I've definitely learned over the past year.
So for all the sports shows and even the production nights, there's just a slew of people in and around the studio working, or sometimes they're just even sitting on the couches over there watching a great show. So with that in mind, how would you describe the growth of the sports department here at Citrus TV across your 4 years so far?
You know, I'm incredibly proud of the work that I continued to build off of Adam Cohen's tenure, who was the previous sports director before me. I think the quality of our content has increased tremendously. I'm incredibly proud of the work of my producers who, over the past year, have utilized our new studio, have changed the graphics on the shows, and have made it their own. A lot of our shows, when I first got here, were the same thing week after week after week. It's not to say they weren't great. There were plenty of great shows week after week. But it's how do we not stay stagnant? How do we stay up to date with the world of communications? What can we do to show people that our stuff is what they should be paying attention to when it comes to Syracuse and college sports? And I think all of our shows have done a great job of making them their own and making them different. Not one of their shows is the exact same week after week. So I think from just a production standpoint, I'm so incredibly proud. And I would say on top of that, our social media is insane. A quarter of our social media posts on Instagram have come within the past year. We have taken our social media to a whole nother level. Our views have multiplied times 10 over the past year, and that's because myself and Brennan, who's our social media team director, have really bought into this new age of social media, right? What we do here in this studio is to have the best sports coverage in Central New York for Syracuse sports, but we understand that if we are not posting our stuff online, if it's not accessible for people, then we're doing something wrong. And so we really made sure that we revamped the way that all of our social medias look across YouTube, across X, across Instagram, and upped our use of Reels and Shorts and TikToks as well. And so by doing that, it also gives our students an outlet to be creative, our social producers to be creative and produce content for the station that I'm just so incredibly proud of the work that they've put in. Yes, it was Brennan and I kind of communicating on what should happen and how things should look, but everybody who had a role in each of the shows, from both behind the scenes and on air to our social producers to our actual producers, everybody have played such a big role in helping people who aren't directly in Syracuse or who live in Syracuse but might not know what Citrus TV is, made them know what Citrus TV is because of our use of social media. So those are a couple of things that I'm incredibly proud of, and some of the ways that I think the station has, I don't want to say improved, but how our department has gone to the next step.
Absolutely. And my final question is, if you could have one word of advice for your successor, Matthew Perry, who will be taking over the reins as sports director when we come back from Thanksgiving break, what would that word of advice be and why?
You know, Matt was not my assistant sports director, but he's been around the station for a long time, since he got here as a freshman, and there is not a single person that is more ready for this position than him. Matt is going to do great work, and I'm incredibly excited to see what he's going to do with the position. My biggest piece of advice is exactly what I said, which is continue to adapt, continue to improve this place, continue to build on what we built together, not only for his show on the bench, but for the rest of the station. He's going to do a great job, and I'm super excited to see where the department goes in the next year.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
All right.